welcome to my studio. How are you doing? How's your soul doing today? What sort of magic are you creating in your life at this time? Are you playing? Are you playing with bubbles? Anything to get us through this time, right? So in my previous video, I talked about corsages for Mother's Day. And I showed you how to make one out of nylon organza. And so I want to show you a couple of other options if you don't happen to have nylon organza. And again, this is this concept of seeing the potentiality in everyday materials. You know, things that you have around your home that you have only labeled as one thing. And maybe you don't see the potentiality in those things, and hopefully I can inspire you to see something just ever so slightly different than what it actually is. So yeah, this idea of making a corsage for Mom for Mother's Day. So I have a good friend, and he sent me a bunch of candy wrappers. And fiber artists, you know, I used to use these all the time in my artwork. This mylar sort of plastic, and sometimes, like, this was from tea bags. My tea bags were wrapped in this gold mylar. And it's so cool when you have friends like that who see, you know, this as an art supply and sends it to you and says, you know, hey, what can you make with that? So I used to use these all the time in my artwork, and I haven't really been a fiber artist for a while. I've been more in my caustic work. But yeah, so I took his candy wrappers. I think maybe he has a sweet tooth. And so I made another corsage. So it was the same principles as the one that I showed you in the previous video. So cutting out various sizes of circles. And again, you know, perfection, you don't have to be perfect in your circles, even with these. Now I did include a couple of layers of the nylon organza in behind this one. But I mean, it was perfectly, you know, it's perfectly beautiful just like that. But I just thought it needed a little bit of softness to it. So I did the same thing. I cut out the circles, I stacked them, I combined them together. Now I combine them on my felting machine. Again, that has a little bit of felt in behind, and that's the remains of my felt. I don't have a piece of felt to show you. And in the center here, I used roving, and you might not be familiar with roving, but this is, I think this one might be actually silk roving. And so I just used a little tuff of that, and again, I used it in my felting machine, but that's not what you need to do. You can maybe stack them and glue them together, maybe a little hot glue in between the layers, just to adhere them. And then I would take a needle and thread, and I would attach them. And then again, just using, I have my cork trivet and my crafting heat tool and some tweezers, and I just applied heat to the plastic. And again, you want to work in a well-ventilated area, so opening up a window is always a great idea, or having a door open, or doing it outside. I wish it was a nicer day that I could say I was outside doing this, but not in the snow. Yeah, so it makes a really interesting corsage with candy wrappers, and to think about maybe, you know, buying 2 boxes of candy for Mom, so one that she can maybe eat, and maybe one that you could use the wrappers, eat yourself, use the wrappers, and then make a beautiful corsage for her. And of course, these corsages don't necessarily need to adorn the person. It can also, you know, be as a little ornament on a gift as well. So yeah, so that one was made out of this tea bag wrapper and candy wrappers. Now, I bought some apples today at the grocery store, and it came in kind of a funky plastic bag. So I took, again, the same sort of principles, cutting out circles, as you can see, cutting out circles out of this bag, stacking them up, and I made a corsage out of a plastic bag. So kind of cool in terms of this could be, you know, on a rain jacket. It's waterproof. And you know, you can get out your beads. I have a huge selection of beads, and just doing a little, you know, adding a little bit of sparkle in the middle of these. And again, it could be a hairpiece or something on a hat. But yeah, seeing plastic in a whole new way and heating it. So again, you want to work in a well-ventilated area. One more corsage idea that I have is, you know, what if you wrote Mom a lovely love letter? You know, I just wrote the words, I love you, I love you, I love you. This happens to be on some beautiful Italian paper. And, you know, as any artist will tell you, that paper is usually a big thing. I love, love, love Italian paper. I happen to be Italian, but and Japanese paper would be another, you know, paper that I love. And fountain pens, don't even get me started. So I want to show you, paper is not as fragile as you think. Paper is actually really quite strong. Now, how can you strengthen paper? So you go like this. And it's really just as simple as that. And I think that this is a beautiful, beautiful metaphor for life. You know, the more life crumples you up, the stronger you are. So that's maybe something to ponder. You know, I know that my life used to be that flat piece of paper, and life had a way of crumpling me up, and I am so much stronger and more resilient for it. So once you've crumpled up your paper, you want to smooth it out. Now you can apply gel medium to paper to make it more water resistant. You can use a varnish, you can use resin, or you could just use a regular white glue that dries clear. You might want to add a little bit of water to it so it's more liquidy, and you can brush it on, and then just allow your papers to dry. And then, you know, just cut out circles like I have done out of these other papers. I mean, I didn't even apply anything to the paper. And you can stitch on paper in your sewing machine really, really easily. So yeah, I stacked these pieces of paper together, and again, I mean, I used my felting machine, but you don't need to. You can just glue the pieces of paper together. I only have 4 layers here, all of different size circles. And there's my felt back at the back. And you know, how about a button? Just a regular button. And you could just sew that button in the middle, like that. And yeah, just put a pin back on it. Or even, you know, put this on as a bow on a package. But I love, love, love this idea of writing a story to your mom, or writing just a note to her telling her just how much she means to you. And then crafting something out of that she can actually wear. And she knows that intention of your love in that piece of work for her. So that kind of brings me to the title of this piece behind me. I entitled this piece, It All Begins with Love. And it truly, truly does. It all begins with love. So my intention for this piece, I wrote in big letters, you know, it all begins with love. And for whatever reason, and I don't exactly know why, but this piece has never felt complete to me. And I have no explanation. This piece has almost sold a couple of times, but there is just something missing in this piece, and I don't quite know what it is yet. And hopefully one day I will find love, but hopefully one day I will also understand what is the missing piece in this piece. And I think that's kind of neat to show my vulnerability as an artist, because I have been asked many times, when do you feel a piece is finished? Some pieces are never, ever finished. And this kind of represents that to me. I have a pile of work that to me, they're just not quite right yet. And I don't know what the missing piece is, and all I do is I trust. I trust that one day I will know, or one day I will know how to proceed with those pieces. But I also realize that I can only see through my eyes, and sometimes what I see in a piece isn't what other people see. And yeah, that's love, isn't it? Love means something completely different to each and every one of us. Before I end this video today, I want to sing a chant. And I've been thinking a lot about your own voice, finding your own voice. And I have been asked, I'm quite generous with my ideas. And to me, knowledge is not power. I do not hoard knowledge. I am here to inspire, always to inspire. And people have taken some of my ideas and copied them verbatim. And what I would say to them is, find your own voice, because you have the most incredible voice of your own. And yes, maybe I can spark something within you, but add your own voice to your work. Make it yours, because you have an incredible gift. And, it's nice that you think that, you'd like to pass on my gift, but add your own gift, add your own magic to your work. And that is the most satisfying thing to me, is when people are just inspired by my work, and it just is the starting point for something great in their life. So this chant, I'm not a singer. I have taken singing lessons, and my singing teacher was absolutely fabulous, but she wanted me to project my voice. And for whatever reason, I just do not have one of those voices that project very well. And I have found that when I sing chants, that's when my voice is the best. So there is always the stop button at this point, so if you don't want to hear this, that's fine. But I'm going to sing for you. This is a beautiful, beautiful chant, and it is calling in the white light of protection. And in Kundalini Yoga, we sing it quite frequently. So I'm just going to rub my healing hands together, igniting my healing hands, and I'm going to bring them to my heart. And know that these words are always coming from my Satnam, my truth, my heart, and this is calling in the white light of protection. Ajage name, jagagare name, Satgare name, Sirgadudave name, Agare name, Jagagare name, Satgare name, Sirgadudave name, Agare name, Jagagare name, Satgare name, Sirgadudave name. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be filled with peace and be at ease. Until the next time.